hey, watch this episode on YouTube.
Do better.
Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that is us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
And my name is Alex, and today we've got a double dose of Alex coming your way. We are joined by a good friend of the podcast, one of our fraternity brothers back in the day, if you can believe that me and Evan used to be in a fraternity. We are joined by our good friend Alex Becker. Alex, how are you doing today?
I am doing so good. I still cannot believe that I'm on this podcast. Like, I listen to you guys every day on the way to work. Like, it's so much fun, and the fact that I get to do one of my favorite, video game adaptions of all time, it works perfectly.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. You're going to get to see how the sausage is made. It's going to
Yeah.
ruin the whole illusion for you. I have to admit, Alex asked me, he goes, do you guys script any of your stuff? And I was like, absolutely fucking not. We couldn't script this if we tried. Okay, but Alex alluded to it. Today, we're covering something really interesting and really fun, and I can't wait to talk about this. We are covering the Amazon Prime original series, original video game, Fallout. Ooh, I'm gonna set the world on fire. Oh, I'm gonna get us copyrighted on YouTube. Speaking of which, thank you, everyone, again. I've done it the past 2 episodes. I've asked you guys to go to YouTube and subscribe, and you guys literally have not disappointed at all. Shown out in great numbers. Thank you for that. So keep doing that. We appreciate that. But yes, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Fallout. Now, I'm going to set the stage, and I'm going to speak for Evan, and I have not confirmed this, but myself and Evan have not played a single minute of any of these video games.
Don't know anything about it. So, I mean, the show was a wonderful ride for me because
Yeah.
this
And
is a lot of
so
fun.
I'm excited. This is what we do here. We bring in our resident expert, Alex Becker here, knows all about these games, the lore. He's going to fill
my
in the
gosh.
gaps, the things we don't know. But I actually think one of the biggest strengths of this whole thing is I don't feel like I needed to know anything about the games.
I feel like that was like the best part about it, especially for like new fans. Like you could come in fresh. They didn't like roll you with like, and this is why nuclear energy works or whatnot.
Yeah. No, I didn't feel like it was bogged down in like too many references I was missing or lore. Like I enjoyed every single episode of this. I like threw it on this week, very much being like, oop, I gotta finish it before Thursday rolls around, before we record. And as soon as I started it, could not stop. I was like, this is engaging and thrilling.
Yeah, it is. It definitely sucked me in, not knowing anything about the show. There were a couple things it reminded me of. I had recently watched Silo, which is another sort of nuclear fallout thing about people who live in atomic fallout bunkers. That's a little more darker, more of a serious tone. And this was just like the right lighthearted, but like gritty and violent, and just the right mix of all of that for me. So if you like Silo, you'll probably like this as well. Trying to
Shit.
think.
I think there's a lot. I think if you like any sort of fantasy, like sci-fi, this is like very much up your alley.
Zombie
Alex, before
stuff.
we get zombie stuff, it's got it all.
It's got
Before
it
we
all.
get too deep into this, Alex, talk us through your relationship with the video games. How long you been playing these?
Sure. So I think I started playing the Fallout 3 when I was maybe like 12 or something like that. And I didn't really understand the depth of it. And what's cool about the video games, it's funny that you bring it up, Evan. It's like the kookiness and also the grittiness mixed together. And that's what really kind of makes the games really fun. Like for example, there's a perk in the game called like, I believe it's like Wild Wasteland or something like that. Someone online is going to kill me. Please, I'm getting some of these wrong. I apologize. But
Roast his ass.
but it allows you to like weird and crazy stuff happens while you're playing the game. Like for example, there's like a Luke and Leia, like you find like the parents of Luke Skywalker like as skeletons in the middle of the desert. Like it's just Yeah, it's funny stuff like
That's
that
fun.
that just like
Yeah.
allows you to go absolutely crazy in the game and do wild and crazy stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'm not calling you guys wrong at all, but until you brought it up, I actually did not even think about the fact that it is like pretty lighthearted and jovial at times. I was like, oh yeah, this is serious rough and tumble post-apocalyptic world. But like, no, it was pretty funny. There are like some lighthearted things. I would say like most of the show takes place during daytime. So like even the vaults themselves are well lit. Like it could be a very dark and gritty show, and that's not fully what it is. And I didn't put that together till we were just talking about it now.
It does that without veering into like being too campy, which
Yeah.
there is another video game adaptation coming out, feature film, Borderlands, post-apocalyptic vibe, has Gwyneth No, not Gwyneth Paltrow. What's her name? Lydia Tarr. I forget her name, but the lady who plays Lydia Tarr, and Kevin Hart, I believe, are in it.
And
But
Gwyneth
that-
Paltrow.
Just the fact that like Kevin Hart's in that is like, I feel like that might veer a little further into the campiness in the genre. But is 2024, are we in the age of the video game adaptation? We have Last of Us. That's another sort of reference point. If you enjoyed that, this is like a lighter hearted,
Yeah.
it's in that lane, you know?
For sure.
Last of Us, The Witcher,
Ooh,
even
yeah.
Super Mario.
There is Halo, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, there's a
I haven't
Halo
watched
series.
any of that. Have you?
I have not, but I've heard, it was
heard-
all right.
Okay.
I heard it was all right. I didn't hear like great things, but I heard all right things.
It's a little tough because like the whole time like Master Chief's helmet's on, and then like the first episode, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take it off. I'm Master Chief, and it's like, oh no, you ruined the surprise.
Damn.
You've broken the whole illusion.
Yeah.
Keep your helmet on. Yeah, I think there's something to it. And I do want to discuss kind of like the broader sense of like, we are in an age of like remakes, reboots, like intellectual property that is being recycled all the time. I love the video game route. I actually think it's like such an untapped market, even though we're really tapping into it at this point. There's a live action Zelda movie coming out. Like they're really getting into it now. But I think that some of these video games have like such strong stories and like characters. Like hell yeah, let's bring them to the big screen. We should have been doing this for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we're at the early onset of it. This
Sonic?
is Sonic, yeah. You know, there's a handful of really quality shows, and my concern, and I'm sure it's going to go this route, is 10 years from now, we're all going to be sick of video game adaptations, but right now's the time to get in. Invest
the
early, buy low, sell high. Like,
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah, everything is pretty good right now.
I can't believe that one's. Is that going to be a movie?
Five Nights
It
at
is
Freddy's?
a movie. It's on streaming.
It's already a movie. It was Peacock's like #1 movie when it released, and it was really good. And it's got Josh Hutcherson from PETA from Hunger Games. He was great.
Oh my god, I'm gonna watch this right after. That's crazy, incredible.
Yeah. It was really good. And so I think that one, they already have a huge fucking fan base built into them. Like, some people are watching it regardless of if it's trash or not. But two, I think they've actually, you know what it is? And we talked about this on the One Piece podcast. The people that made this Fallout game, or excuse me, this Fallout TV show clearly has like a love and respect of like the lore and the games and all, and the aesthetic and the vibe. They didn't try to like make it their own thing. They were like, I'm making a Fallout show.
Yeah.
And there's 6 main, I've looked this up now. There's 6 mainstay games. There's Fallout 1, which released in 1997, by the way. This is
No, I mean,
that's
what?
so,
That's so
long
long.
ago. Like, what the fuck? That's insane. And then there's Fallout 2, Fallout 3, there's Fallout New Vegas, and then there's Fallout 4, which is the most recent one. And they have
Okay.
2 spin-off games that they no longer consider part of the
longer canon.
family. Yeah, they're no longer
Oh.
canon for whatever reason. But so I've been hearing some great things about Fallout 4, and then I saw this at the beginning of one episode and it clicked for me. It's a Bethesda game, which is one of my favorite games, Skyrim.
Exactly.
And so every time I tell someone, oh, I love Skyrim, they're like, you need to play Fallout. And it finally clicked for me. Why? It's made by the same people.
Like, there's no relation. What are you talking about? Oh,
Becker,
man.
what is your favorite game and why?
In general?
No, the Fallout series. Oh, there's also
I'm
Fallout
curious
76.
in general as well.
Yeah, we can go in general as well,
Let's
but
learn
no,
about
of
you
this
as a
series.
Please, of course, through Fallout. Well,
Yeah.
it's cool because like each game, it's completely different. So, for example, Fallout 3 set in Washington D.C. New Vegas is
Oh.
obviously set in, you guessed it, Vegas. But Fallout 4 set in Boston, right? And each one has a different like vibe to it. Like the one in Vegas is like it's the cowboy, gambling, craziness. Some of the other ones is just, it goes back to the whole roots of the Fallout game, which is like war never changes, man. There's always some people who think they know how to run the world, and you gotta find out who you're gonna belong to.
That line was really cool at the end, and I thought it was so cool. I was looking it up, and I didn't know this, but that's like the opening line of every game. War never changes. Ooh, that's chilling.
Stone cold.
Yeah, perhaps this is a dumb question, but walk me through it. Do these games all are they all set in the same time frame as this show is taking place, or is
good
it just like
question.
somewhere along the timeline of like
For
before
sure.
or after this show, sometime during this Fallout?
So I think they're all set in different, like, within probably 10 or 15 years of each other. I know some games will reference other games. Even the show actually referenced like the big airship, I think in the first or second episode when you see like the Brotherhood of Steel come in with the big like blimp looking thing. That ship is from Fallout 4, which is set in the Commonwealth, like Boston area.
Okay.
But yeah, they're kind of similar. I know some games will jump around though.
In my research, I learned the TV series is taking place after the events of like all the games. And so like Shady Sands is like a location in most of the Fallout games that we see the aftermath of in this series.
It's definitely referenced as like a recent nuclear hellhole. Essentially, we're just like, yep, more nukes, everyone's favorite. Keep it rolling.
That actually, well, since we're getting into it just a little bit, that actually was one of the more shocking things to me to learn, like, oh my God, more nukes have gone off since the Great War. I was like, whoa, I didn't even consider that someone nuked a post-war civilization and like why someone would ever want to do that. That really blew my fucking mind. So something we're talking about here, I'm skipping, I guess like this is like the very last scene
Let's do it.
of the
Let's jump
whole
right
show.
in. Yeah.
Just in the
Is
games,
Mr.
back and forth.
McLean, is he showing up to New Vegas? Is that what, did he walk all the way to Las Vegas from California?
Yeah, he like half flew, half like whatever, and
He's
he's
got
like
the Iron Man suit on.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so that's
Okay.
that's where I'm gonna guess the second season is gonna take place, and I think that's where most of the
Okay.
fans are kind of wary about what's gonna happen because at the end of Fallout New Vegas, you get to basically choose what happens to the city, right? So depending on what's gonna happen to the show is gonna basically what's the word? Canonize? Canonize?
Canonize? Yeah.
Canonize. There we go.
What
Like,
what happened at the end of that game? I see what you mean. It's so up in the air. This will give it a definitive. This was.
Yeah, but that's like a George R.R. Martin, like Game of Thrones thing. Like, writing the end before it actually happens. And it can always change,
Okay,
You don't have to be
interesting.
beholden to
Interesting.
that.
And then one of the in my research as well, Fallout 76 is a multiplayer online game. And how this actually came on my whole radar about Fallout 76 was I saw in the news that a group of people collectively nuked like a president at Microsoft or for the Xbox. Like they got rid of the Xbox something or other, and a bunch of people nuked this guy's territory just to be like, just like a middle finger to him. Like
Oh
that
my
is
God.
so, that is what I love about. I've never been able to get into like a massive multiplayer online game, but I would love to get to the point where like I have like some power and influence over the world there. That shit would be fun.
that is one of them I've frequented as well. It is tough because like you deal with other players, right? And you get to build and do whatever you want. And they can just walk over and be like, no, I'm actually just gonna nuke it. Like bummer. Like unfortunately you spent how long building
Are they?
it?
Are they savage? Like do you start off like Lucy, where you're really like innocent and kind, but then by the time you spend a few weeks in the wastelands, you're like, nah, I'm doing whatever I can for bottle caps.
Pretty similar story. So you in 76, you essentially just walk out in your vault because every vault is different in Fallout, right? Each one, as we figure out in the show, has like some sort of weird science experiment or some shit.
Okay, so you knew that before the whole you knew that obviously then, right? You're saying from the games you knew
Yeah.
that all the vaults are different?
Yeah.
Because that was actually maybe one of my favorite twists in the whole series. That was like such a great reveal to be like, oh, each of the vaults are having like an experiment done on them. Like when it was fucking Jerry, Chris Parnell with the one eye, he was like, what was the experiment in your vault? Like, oh my God, when he showed up also, I was like, there's no way this is fucking... Chris Parnell, post SNL, has made such an interesting career for himself.
Yeah. One of the most iconic voices. Love him. Love everything he does. Love that he popped up. Does he voice in the game at all?
Oh, I don't know.
Is
He
there-
doesn't, but there's a
Okay.
few like famous people in some of the games, like not Neil Patrick Harris. Who was Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars? You're gonna kill me. I'm sorry.
Liam Neeson.
Liam
Yeah,
Neeson.
he voices like your father in Fallout 3. Because like
Oh,
when I went
wow.
back, I said, I was like, that's Willem Neeson. That's
I
him.
love
Like that.
Liam Neeson. I love Qui-Gon Jinn. Okay. That's pretty legit. And I do know these games sometimes get very legit voice actors. So that's always fun and interesting to see also. And God damn, this game's been active since 1997. So it's got a bit of a reputation that's following. Man, that's crazy because... Man, the Cold War fucked up like all of society. Like I'm just having this revelation here. Like how many stories is that like the turning point in fantasy where the US like diverges? That was people were scared shitless during that. I didn't live through it, but like it has a lasting impact where people like are still writing stories about it to
Hey,
this day.
War never changes, man.
Oh,
Is that the line?
It's- yeah,
you got it. You got it. That was great.
in when they were writing the game, like in the Fallout universe, America is against communist China. That's like the biggest enemy they have. And originally it was supposed to be Russia, but I guess the writer was talking to a buddy in Russia, and some gunshots went off like in their financial district of some town. And the guy from America's on the phone. He's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And the Russian guy's like, "Oh no, it's cool. Like we're all good. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "Oh, in the future, the United States will never actually be legitimately at war with Russia. Like, we're just gonna make it China instead." And that's funny how like, it's just funny how little things like that change.
But that is funny. So even in 1997, it was China. Well, I guess, yeah, or Russia, which, I mean, that's still fucking China. And so, okay. And so, interesting. And so we can, what I want to do is I think probably go character by character. We can kind of discuss their pros, cons, their journey, their adventure, their life, their faction. One thing I love about this is just all the different factions. And apparently from the TV show, we're just scratching the surface is what I've learned.
It's true. I like how they didn't, again, I'll go back to this, like, they didn't just pepper the audience with information. Like, they have to know this, you have to know each and every detail. They let you explore it on their own, which is cool. It's exactly how you actually play the game.
I did feel like I was really exploring the world. That was part of what I really liked about it. Like, it didn't feel like meaningless wandering, but at the same time, we explored a great deal of the world and the people in it. And through Lucy's eyes, who's new to the whole thing, we are also new to the whole thing. It's actually really good. That's perfect for a TV show. That's great.
So, made by Amazon MGM. I think they acquired MGM
And-
a while ago.
You know the people who made it, what else they made?
What?
Westworld.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
that
Westworld
still
season
going?
1 and season 2 were lit. 3 and
Yes.
4, not as
How far
much.
did they get? Yeah.
I think they got to 4.
yeah.
Are they? I thought I had seen they were.
It's
gonna
one
keep
of those
making
shows I think they took off of Max also, where it's like, oh, I don't know you can watch this anymore.
There's
It's
so much.
a shame. But
That's
you know
like a
what?
premium show.
That was like, yes, that's what I'm saying, because that was like a
premium TV.
prime time show.
Yeah.
That intro, I can the piano, I can picture it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's in the HBO Hall of Great for intros there. Yeah, but Westworld, famously awesome. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, these people are gonna know what they're doing. and I think they knocked it out of the park. Like I said, I knew nothing about this world, but I was in it by the end.
Mm-hmm. The show had a budget of $153 million, which
Wow.
sounds like a lot, but relative to Amazon's most expensive show of all time, which had a budget of like $1 billion, which was The Rings of Power, which got panned. I don't know if either of you had watched it.
I
It was a
haven't.
fantasy show. I don't know, like a high budget fantasy
They
show.
hated it.
I
Didn't
watched
they?
it, but yeah, but it didn't do too well. But that makes me think: are streamers making money back on shows? Not that it's all about money, but it's like there's
with
no
you. Like,
way
where is the
Fallout
mathematics?
or Rings of Power is increasing Amazon Prime subscriptions.
Well, let's
by
do
that
some
many.
math. Hold on. Let's do some math because it's
Divide by
not necessarily always about.
$19.99. How many more users? Do
So how much was it? It was 156 million. You said
153.
153 million dollars. It's not all about getting new subscriptions. It's about keeping the subscriptions they have.
That's fair.
And
yeah.
so what you said,
Funny
$19 a month. How much you think Amazon Prime is? I don't know.
So, like, yeah, $19.99. It's probably more now.
Let's just
They keep
divide by
jacking up the
20.
price.
$15.75.
So actually, no, look at this math though. For $20 a month, they are hoping that Fallout, did they release it week by week or did they do it all at once?
All at once. They gave it.
Bold. And they're hoping for that 1 month, it keeps 7,650,000 people. That math kind of checks out, if I'm
Okay.
being honest.
All right.
I think they honestly saved a bunch of money though. Like I was reading that they just 3D printed stuff straight from the game, so they didn't have to waste time on design, on like making ideas for the show. They're like, oh, cool, that's
And
an alarm clock.
3D printing probably fucking. Oh, I see what you mean. They had all the source materials there.
They don't have to like do anything necessarily except like props, and I feel like that's Hollywood, baby. Like you can just do that already, you know.
Interesting.
All right,
From
so I
what
ju-
I've seen online, like the Pit Boys, like it all looks very like 1-to-1 to the show. Like if they did it, they stayed very loyal.
Faithfully translated.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
That's what I was looking for.
So I just Googled it. As of February 2024, Amazon Prime had 230 million members worldwide, 167 of which are in the U.S. So 7 million would be like roughly 3% of that whole number. So I guess that's not
that checks.
unrealistic.
That
There we go.
checks.
So
That's wild to think about, though, to spend over $100 million to be like, yeah, we're just
and
trying
that's
to keep
why
7
2-day
million
shipping is
people.
now 5-day shipping. Like nothing shows up anymore. Goddamn.
Oh, that's funny.
Beckers, help us settle a debate.
Please.
Are you pro or anti like the binge release, like dropping everything at once?
Yeah. What do you think?
I feel like because it was a video game series and not like a new thing, they're just like, here, nerds, here it is. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Like, tell me. Like, what do you think? And I think from a nerd being myself, they did it right. Everything from the video game I was literally watching. They even made the same sounds in the video game. Like in the Power Armor, same sounds. They stripped
love
it
that.
straight from the game. Like I watched it 3 times, right? Once alone, once with my fiance, and then once from this podcast. And the second time, I was like, "Babe, that's the actual sound." And she's like, "Of course, it's great, incredible." And I was like, "No, you don't understand." She's like, "No, trust me, I get it." But no, it was such a cool thing to hear, just from a longtime fan, hearing those sounds, seeing the characters, seeing like every place I've physically been to. It's sweet, love it.
Yeah.
I haven't played the games, but the sound design of the show, I was like, this sounds very much like a video game, and it puts you, it is very enjoyable.
The ghoul's gun made like a very distinct whoop. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like that noise he's got going on.
Yeah, like there were times when they were stocking up or like looting a place where I'd be like,
Yeah.
I should be buying something from like, a store, paying 50 bottle caps or whatever for like a potion or some shit right now. Like,
Right.
What
is-
are
it's
the
very well
caps,
executed.
Becker? Can you describe to us the caps?
It's just straight up bottle caps. Like I guess
It is.
in the-
It's just actually bottle caps.
Yeah, because like the number one soda in the game is Nuka-Cola, which is funny because like the entire universe is just based off of
We did see.
actual
atomic stuff.
corporations.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, just straight caps.
We haven't gotten into it, but I loved how the true villain of the series slowly
Capitalism.
devolved into it's always capitalism's fault, baby. Like And they really sprinkled it in there at first, like Vault-Tec's bad, Vault-Tec's evil. But then at the end, they were literally like, we'll drop the bomb ourselves if we have to. And I was like, I gagged, but I shouldn't have been. I was like, it was like a Scooby-Doo mask reveal. It's capitalism.
Yeah. It was one of those moments where I was like, Walton Goggins, first of all, phenomenal.
So good.
I love the flashback sequences, but they sort of show him as this old Hollywood star.
It's like a Clint
and-
Eastwood or like a John Wayne.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a little
yeah.
bristly, he can be at least. But by the end of it, I was like, damn, do I love this Republican-leaning man? Walton Goggins, you have me convinced. I love him. Absolutely love him.
He was one of the standouts of the show, and that's hard to say because there's actually a lot of things that really stand out. But every scene he was in, both like pre-war and when he's the ghoul, phenomenal. He was a big driving force in what made things very interesting when I don't want to say when the plot's not moving along, but kind of when they're just traveling. He made things very interesting, and he was great.
I feel like every time I saw him on screen, I was like, something's happening. Someone's dying, or like, some crazy shit's about to happen. But like, I definitely put my phone down every time.
Hold on.
He's definitely,
Watch.
I don't know, he's not really an antagonist. He's sort of like an anti-hero. But his storyline throughout the whole thing is as compelling as the main characters.
Well, he ties the two timelines together really well. What I realized halfway through was we're getting these flashbacks of him pre-war, and he's like a good dude. You know what I mean? He's like Evan, he might be Republican leaning, but he was like a good dude for that time era. He was like a very good guy, family guy, very concerned and up to date with like other people's well-being. He drives his wife to work, whatever. Post-war, he's been a mutant, a ghoul for 219 years, it said. He's, a dirty scumbag, rotten, do whatever it takes to survive. It really highlighted, you
fall
gotta
from
change.
grace.
Yeah, that fall from grace is like he had to adapt to survive. This is the world now.
Like when you see him after Lucy kills all like the ghoul the organ harvesting place, right?
Yeah.
And then he finds like the old movie of his where he used to act, and that's when he goes in his like binge. He grabs everything he could reach, right? Any drug, any alcohol, and just takes it all, right? He's just such a different character from when he had real skin.
Is that how the game functions? You just like loot drugs and like keep yourself boosted? Like, is that like
Literally
a
the
power
whole time,
boost?
the whole time. Like it's a looter shooter to the very end. Like every building, I'm like, oh cool, like drugs, like great, alcohol, like permanent food that'll never go away, and bullets, like excellent.
Can you turn into a ghoul in the game, or are they just strictly bad baddies?
So there's a difference. There's like sentient ghouls, like you see like Walton Goggins' character, and then there's the ones that are like zombies, which we also see in the show as well, right? I guess eventually you just lose your sanity or some point, because in the show the ghoul takes his vape or whatever, whenever he takes
His inhaler, yeah.
to keep him sane. That's not in the game itself. But I like how there's a permanent, like now that's why he's alive, right? Because I guess after a couple years without his family, I can see the ghoul taking himself out, right? But like now it just looks like he has to keep himself alive, which probably moves the plot along.
You know what? And I did question, and so did Lucy, why do you live? Why do you keep living? What is keeping you going on? And I was like, damn, why is he just like, I'll come back alive later on? Why doesn't he just let himself go? And then they beautifully, succinctly, at the very end, he runs into Mr. McLean, the overseer from Vault 31, and he says, where's my family at? And it's like, oh, they're probably frozen too. That's what's keeping him going, baby. That's why he traverses the wasteland. He's looking for Vault 31 this whole time.
Lucy's father, played by Kyle MacLachlan.
He was good
for
too.
Oh, good.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Kind of humorously used very little for like how much he's sort of advertised and he's in like the first and the last episode essentially.
That's a good point.
Hello,
Impactful
goodbye.
scenes. Yeah. That was not a serious complaint, but one, just the thought occurred to me, like by the end of it, when Lucy's really torn about the conflict with her father and like what to do about him and how they're sort of at odds, I was like, I really haven't seen or felt the attachment from these two characters. Like it's
I actually
kind of
wonder-
implied in the beginning.
I think that was supposed to, I almost thought that was purposeful because we were like, oh, he is bad. He's bad. He's a baddie. We weren't supposed to question it. Like,
Sure.
oh my God, is Moldaver lying? We were supposed to just be like, I knew it. I knew it. He was bad. That's my favorite moment when you start saying I knew it to something you definitely didn't know.
Yeah. Casting for everyone is pitch perfect, though. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other show this reminds me of, again, not as lighthearted, but it's like Severance. It's like the workplace,
Ooh.
something's amiss.
Yeah.
And so you have all these elements playing into it. That is a lot of fun.
We've barely touched it, but the Vault storyline, amazing. Do you play in the vaults at all in the games, or is it all in the Wasteland?
In a couple, you start out in the vault. Actually, 3 and 4 are in the vault. But this one is really cool because this is the first time we get to see a vault that's like a tricorn, like a triangle, right? There's 3 vaults who interact,
Yeah.
who do this like this spouse trade or whatever they call it. But it's
Oh,
cool, that, you know,
farce.
different. It's an interesting take on it for sure. But it just goes to say, you know, each one of these vaults are different. Each has a kooky surprise, you know, waiting for the people who live there. It was really cool to unravel the true mystery of the 3 of them.
You know why? You know why it probably reminded me of Severance? Because it's got that one guy in it, Zach Cherry.
Yeah,
He's
I was
a-
gonna say he's in both of
with
them.
the
Yeah,
bearded. He's up
He
for
ra-
overseer.
he ran for overseer and he lost. They lost. So that was, you know, we talk about me not realizing the show was lighthearted. They were hilarious when they're like sharing the microphone, going back and forth, and everyone gets up like distraught from the news, and they're like, "Meeting adjourned." Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. Like those two were so funny to me, and when they lost, and they're like, "You ran a hell of a campaign, lost 98% of the vote."
Well, that's like a one scene where the guy turns around and goes, "You know, Reg, like you really ran a really good campaign, but I am gonna vote for Betty. Like it's not gonna be you." And he tells him like to his face, unbelievable.
But like it was very funny, and there's a lot of like scenes in the vaults or the vault dwellers that are like very comedic, but all of them, even the comedy, was always used to illustrate like how out of touch they kind of are in their own vault. And I
sure.
thought that was so brilliantly done. Like every time you're laughing at anything Lucy says or does, you're like, oh, that's just how life is in their vault all 200 years later.
Very idyllic.
Yeah.
Most succinctly encapsulated by the tall, handsome cousin who's in love with Lucy.
Yeah.
And is devastated
Dude,
when she's getting
he
married
was
off.
so funny in the beginning when she was like, everyone knows that cousin stuff is not a sustainable option for long, serious sexual activity. Like, that was one of the first moments I was like, oh, I'm going to like this show. This is really funny.
I am super excited to see where Chet's character goes. Just like we see him for like the first time when Steph, who is then
Yeah.
pregnant, just comes into his room and then kind of like comes onto him, right? And Chet's like, "Yeah, call me whatever
Oh,
you want.
Bert.
Totally cool."
Yeah.
Oh, Bert.
Holy
Oh, Bert.
a child like 10 minutes later, and like every time that it cuts to Norm,
No,
who I
he's
can't
just
believe,
the dad.
yeah, he's like, "Congrats, you're a father now. Like, when you did it, man." But his relationship with Rico, I'm sorry, not Rico.
Rico. Yeah. Hannah
Norm,
Montana
right?
throwback, but yeah, Norm.
That's why.
That's why he looks so familiar. I have never seen this guy in anything else besides Hannah Montana, but man, I fucking love Norm.
So good. He was also really good in Ender's Game, right? He was kind of like the antagonist in Ender's Game. He ran the Orange Team or whatever it was, but he always plays that like intellectual, like I know more than you. I will crush you with my mind type character.
He's very curious. This go.
I really liked him in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. No, I'm just so he I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. He was born in 1994, so he's 30.
Yeah.
He's pretty much as old as us.
He's our
It's
age.
very
Looks
bizarre.
good.
Yeah, he looks good. I hope I look that young to other people.
We all do, man. We all do.
Evan and I are wannabe movie critics. We're also wannabe chefs.
We're all doing more cooking at home now. If you want to elevate your home cooking, you need nice tools to do it. Louis Kitchenware will get you there. They have beautiful stainless steel pans, non-stick bakeware, knives, all the stuff you need. Safe, high-quality materials, constructed to last, made in the United States, founded in Detroit.
Moving into my condo, we got hand-me-downs. So this new Louis Kitchenware has been great, and we love the discount. We want to share that with our listeners.
You can use code 2dudes, that's TWO dudes, at louiskitchenware.com, and that'll give you 10% off anything on the site.
Check out our link in bio.
Two dudes watch cartoons.
Who else do we have in the vault? Should we dig into Lucy?
Let's talk about Goosey. Goosey McLean. No, it definitely says Goosey here. Like I said about Walter Goggins, another standout for me. Lucy was a highlight. She was awesome. I can't think of the actress's name, but when I looked it up, she is the voice of Jinx in Netflix's Arcane, another property that we've
Which
covered.
season 2 is coming out later this year. Her name is Ella Purnell.
I love her. She was great.
Yeah.
I think she was in Army of Dead, right? She played the daughter of who's the Batista's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen those. Those are Zack Snyder films, right?
Yeah, you know what? Army of the Dead's pretty good, actually. Yeah, it's a
so
good one.
good.
Okay.
But it's
to get
cool.
into
Like
It's got New Vegas vibes, even though I know nothing about
bingo.
New
Oh,
Vegas.
no, it's the same thing, man. You got it.
I got the
Same
right
vibe.
vibes, though.
Same vibe.
Ah!
But in the beginning of the series, she kind of goes over to the audience, says, "This is who I am. These are the skills I have in life, right? I'm in the shooting club. I'm in the gymnastics club.
Yeah.
I have repair skills. Those are all skills in the actual game." So when it started, I was like, cool. I know exactly what she's running. She's got that mid-intelligence build, some charisma in there, some strength, some endurance. Like, it's a good character. Very smart, very smart.
Oh,
what would
that's
be your
funny.
build going in?
Yeah, what's your build? Pitch us.
I'll tell you what I'm using right now in Fallout 4. It is a very low intelligence build. It's got about 2 intelligence on there, 8 strength. So I'm going for that. Just
That's
like
Evan's character.
yeah,
it's fun. It's
Yeah.
exactly. It's the cool because if you have a low intelligence, when you get to choose what you say to people, right? Low intelligence gets like really stupid responses to your character. So like. It's just, and you can see that with other characters throughout
good.
the actual show itself. It's hilarious. Like Maximus's character probably has a little bit low intelligence because the way he communicates with people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Max here, because I want to say if there's 8 episodes, 7 of these episodes, I kind of hated Max.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to sort of.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to be a hot take here.
I kind of get where he's coming from though, because like
Okay,
his
talk
whole
us through.
life, right? We see his character like I'm sorry, they play the replay like 8 times where he comes out of a refrigerator and he's like,
Same scene.
and the Brotherhood of Steel is like, "Come here, child, come with me," right?
That
But
was
his
straight
whole
from
life-
anime move. Show
Yeah.
the
Literally.
same flashback 6 times.
Why are you the way you are? I'm like this. I was in a fridge,
Flashes
Like,
before my
he's-
eyes. The guy
He's had
saved
no
him.
one his whole life, right? He's been battling his whole life. And like the old man who runs the Brotherhood of Steel, I can only imagine just probably guilt tripped him his whole life. So he can't trust anyone. As soon as Lucy, like, he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, I'm for sure Night Titus, baby." Like, absolutely. All day. Like,
Titus, baby.
Right.
He did provide a lot of comedic moments, but Maximilian, he's part of the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel, we have not talked about, is a faction that is like super militaristic, but they're like, we're going to use all medieval knight terms.
they're cosplaying. They're cosplaying as knights. They read it in the book, be like, "These boys, this is what we are." Definitely.
We are knights and oracles and druids. I was like, okay, I am here for the steampunk D&D campaign we got going on. Let's do it.
But they're technically, or they're actually in most games, they're typically a faction you can join. In some of the games, they're actually good people. But
These
as
ones
we
were
real
not great.
no, and as you figure it out, like most people in this wasteland, they're kind of just assholes. You know,
Yeah.
like
Most people are kind of
Yeah.
assholes.
yeah,
You gotta be.
You gotta be.
I really
war
liked.
never changes.
Yeah. I really liked who's the guy who plays his squire, like after he starts impersonating Titus.
Johnny
Johnny
Pemberton.
Pemberton.
Johnny
Bolton.
Pemberton is so funny in this show.
You know
And
how
they
old
sort
he
of-
is?
yeah. He's probably
He's
also
42
around it.
years old.
He's
What
not
else do I
42.
know him
what?
from?
22
how do I
and
know him?
21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, that
But
makes
yeah,
a lot
I
of
feel like
sense.
he's perpetually a teenager. Like I feel like in every movie I see him, it's like, oh yeah, you're still 17, right? You're still just doing the same stuff.
I was really liking when they were getting along, and I was like, this is gonna work. And then he fucking branded him, and I was like, he's gonna be pissed. And then he decided to tell him right after. I was like, dude, he is gonna be pissed that you branded him.
Doesn't even wait 5 seconds. He goes, all right, I permanently scarred you. Also, I'm Maximus. Surprise.
I'm Max. It's me, Maximus. Also, look, they talked about it twice, at least, maybe more. Why were they bullying him?
Why does anyone bully anyone? Sorry.
They had
'Cause
well,
he's-
doesn't Johnny
I guess
Pemberton's
'cause-
character say he's like, it was me. It had, if it wasn't, if I didn't then start doing it to you, then it would have still been me. Like it's just like
I guess
someone
you're
has to
right.
draw the short straw.
He did say
Yeah.
it that way. I guess someone's got someone's always getting picked on. They were so mean to him though.
Yeah.
They weren't just like bullying him. They were like beating his ass.
Yeah. That's the kind of like, oh, what are you guys going to do for fun? We could just beat the shit out of Maximus again. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
perfect.
my god. And then Dane in the Brotherhood of Steel was so scared to be a squire, ended up
They
it was so
emaciated their own foot. tore up their
scared the
own
shit
foot.
out of me. I was terrified. I was like, oh, what's going on?
It's
and
gruesome. The show.
they instantly played Max. They were like, you do it because you were jealous, boy? I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
A lot
Maximus-
of related damages in this whole series. Like everyone's like,
So many foot injuries.
the doctor lost a foot. Dane got injured via foot.
Johnny Pemberton.
Thaddeus is he's crushed. Like
Yeah.
that
His
sucks.
was brutal because here's how it worked is he was fighting with Max and he stepped on his foot and I go, oh, but then he was still walking around for a little after and I go, oh, maybe it wasn't as bad as I was picturing. Maybe I overreacted. And then he's walking and limping and I was like, yeah, I definitely overreacted to how bad that was. And he fucking took his shoe and sock off and I go, oh, I was not overreacting. I did not overreact. And it's actually, and I'm not kidding. I'm not like this, guys. I actually had to look away. It like really grossed me out because I like talked myself out of, oh, it's clearly not as bad as I thought.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Can we talk about Dr. Chickenfucker really quickly?
Is that the character's name?
No.
Oh.
It's the one that the internet I think kind of
It's a
dubbed him.
classic. You roll up to two strangers and you have to decide like which one's in the right and wrong. And he chooses to save the one. And he goes, I was only beating him up because he keeps fucking my chickens. And I was like, oh my God. Once again, that's where some of this levity comes in. But what I really like is they use these big joking moments always to establish how like the world is now.
The depravity. Yeah.
The depravity of it. Like I was laughing, but at the same time I was like, oh no, poor chickens.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
The original Knight Titus is played by Michael Rappaport, who
Wait, is it really? I
yeah.
go, man, that looks just like Michael Rappaport, but I did not pause Amazon Prime.
I had
Great
this,
feature.
I had the same thought because maybe he's getting old because I was like, is that him? Like,
But I just thought, like, no way he's in this. I don't know why. I talked myself out of it again.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
it is Michael Rappaport.
It's such a short
Rappaport
period
in
in
this-
the show.
He gets fucked up by a bear.
So great. And like it goes again like to your point of like you see the man in armor and you think like, oh, he's a knight of the Brotherhood of Steel, like he's gonna be some big powerful guy. And like he doesn't last 20 seconds. Literally. He goes like let me down, I want to go shoot something. And then he just gets absolutely fucked up by a Yawgwat.
He was a cock and a coward.
So, do you have to fight knights in their suits, or are you trying to survive these like mutated animals, or a little bit of everything?
sometimes they'll come in at the same time, and both Yao Guai and Brotherhood of Steel will come shoot at you. It's a
Yao
fun
Guai
time.
is a
stressful.
mutant bear.
That's so yeah, that's what they call the mutated bear. I guess there was like Chinese internment camps in the Fallout universe, and
I
I
was gonna
think
say that's the
it's
Chinese words for like
For bear.
monster,
Oh,
yeah,
monster.
essentially. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay,
just
They did
interesting.
their
funny little
research.
lore bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's why I think they were so like I want to say scared. You're not scared, but like tentative in releasing this because the fans were like, well, this wasn't up to lore, like this was up to the snuff, of Fallout and everything.
24 years of 25, yeah, 25 years of
sure.
video games. You're gonna have some hardcore lore nerds, defenders in any fandom. But
So yeah.
is that a sign that you've made it, like that you've established a world or a story worth telling? I think that it's a credit. I mean, not necessarily the like toxic fandom, but just
I'm
it's
with
like
you.
that people can disagree so strongly on something.
You created like an army of people who care so much about something you created enough to be like, you didn't do your own thing quite right. Like hilarious.
You
Yeah.
kind of messed it up when you did this and this.
I know
You
you're
already
spending millions of
said
dollars making this, but like, can you change this? It's not
I'm
quite
one
right.
of the 7 million
Can you
people
send
you're
this
trying to
back?
appeal to. Yeah. I think, and we talked a little bit about this earlier. I watched the One Piece Netflix live action, and that was my first introduction to One Piece. And now I've watched 1,000+ episodes. I watched this. I really like. I think I love coming into these fandoms late. I'm fine being a bandwagoner. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm here for the show now. And like, I want to start playing the games. What game do you recommend, Alex Becker, that I play?
The fourth one. I think it's the most recent that's a single player game. I feel like you start with 76, you're
Might
gonna
try
get
the
kind of
MMO.
overwhelmed,
Yeah, I might do
but
it though.
do it. Honestly, the community is really cool. Everyone's really helpful. You rarely find someone who's gonna come and just shoot you.
No
But if
chicken
you're gonna
fuckers.
yeah, thank at least not until the new update. We're waiting for Dr. Chicken Fucker to get there, but I'd say Fallout 4 for sure, man.
Okay.
Okay, so we kind of skipped over Lucy a little bit because she starts in the vaults. What do you guys think about Lucy and her journey, her story?
I'm just honestly so charmed by Ella Parnell. She plays the role so well as like
For
the
sure.
chipper, like
Okie
teacher's
dokie.
pet almost. Yeah. She does it so well. And I think this sort of goes for both her and Maximus. It's sort of about like both of their characters doing the unlearning of the institutions they've sort of grown up with. So I'm into like the messaging of this show.
In episode 2, when Lucy runs into the doctor at night when she's the campfire, right? The doctor comes up and he's like, "Okay, so you wanna find your dad and everything. You're out here in this wasteland. The wasteland's gonna change you. Are you still gonna want the same things when you're at the end of it?" And I think we're really gonna see what that truly means. Obviously through this season, but in the next one as well.
She didn't want the same things when she got there. She said, give the people of the wasteland the nuclear fusion, the cold fusion. Don't free my dad. Like, wow, I didn't even catch that, but he totally did say that. I really thought that was a really chilling line. He's like, you spend 1-2 weeks out here. Are you even going to want the same things? Like, you'll be a totally different person. Ooh, that's good writing. That's chilling.
It's not
And
that
Max-
far-fetched either. With
She's doing all the
current
hard work,
realities.
and Max keeps getting all this glory for it, though. Back at the Knights, they're like, he's the one that killed Boldaver! Yeah!
I do like when Maximus gets back, like the elder, the old man, like brings him to the old room. He's like, "Hey, you and me, we're gonna start a new band. Just me, just us. Like it's gonna be you and me. And we're gonna do something else crazy." But like he just, I think it's a never-ending story of like the person who fails upward. Is a Maximus
yeah.
character.
Yeah, I empathize. I feel that internal cringe when he like is being celebrated at the end. He's like, and he's just like, I don't want to be known for this.
I don't want to be known for this. Oh, no.
Please stop.
And another great line in that meeting where they're like, he goes, we're starting a band, just you and I. He goes, well, one lesson you did learn is that power is not given, it's taken. And I was like, oh, that's so cold. And I was like, you know what? Max did learn that lesson too. He didn't say, let me call this into the Brotherhood and go about this the right way. I survived. He died. He said, fuck it. I'm taking this suit. I want to wear it. I'm doing it.
Maximus, played by Aaron Moten. Aaron Moten. He, since we're looking at everyone's age, he's 35, so a little bit older than us. But I think this is sort of a breakout role, and I just find his acting so compelling. Like he has like the little like Cuba Gooding Jr. twitches in his face that he can like really, really express. It's fascinating to watch.
His
Very
tone.
well acted. Mm-hmm.
He's got a really good tone that
he plays scared.
He played scared very well with his tone. And like when he's in Vault, I don't remember which vault they end up in together. Was it 4? Yeah, at Vault.
Yeah.
Oh, so they go to Vault 4 together, and when he's there, he like can't admit that he wants to stay, but like he just was really good acting. So props, I will give him props. While the character Maximus, I was shaking my fist at a few times. He knocked it out of the park. The actor, his mannerisms, as you said.
For sure. Like even like the scene where it's him and Lucy and the two themes crossing the bridge, right? And it's like it's panning back and forth, because he'll flip from I know I'm the biggest, baddest man out here to when he's in the vault where he's just like in the robe and the slippers and he's like, what is caviar? What is that?
This is delicious. And he's eating the
Also,
popcorn.
when Chris Parnell's character goes up and like it's the classic like everything's cool here, you're gonna love it here. Everything's all great, everyone's happy. Just don't go here. Whatever you do, just don't go to this one place. I was like, cool, we're definitely going there later. I cannot wait.
I love the toilet speech he gives because they're like from the outside world. He's like, just ask if you don't know how to use the toilet, please. And then she goes, he's got one eye. And then he goes, Max goes, a lot of people have one eye. She goes, it was in the center of his face. He goes, it was a little to the left. I was like, that's comedy gold right there. Just so nonchalantly. Just a little to the left.
Yeah. I'm looking at just the cast list and some of the smaller guest spots, and I totally forgot Fred Armisen is in this at the very end. He must be a fan of the game, I'm assuming.
I hope so. I hope he is.
He was so funny too. He's like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. People just really don't like the music for whatever reason. So you got to use these old ones though. It's like really scratched records and like really, he's like, you can just feel it. He goes, you hear the mids? Yeah, the mids. No, hold on. There are the mids. Yeah, he was great.
Oh yeah. No, but it's funny because he plays one of the most beloved characters of any Fallout game. So like the best thing about the game, he doesn't play a specific one, but like the best thing about the Fallout games is that you can tune your radio station on your Pip-Boy, right? There's different radio stations with like maybe classical music or music from the time, right? So they play all like 40s, 50s, 60s, or I guess 30s music. But Fred Armisen's character, he plays everyone's favorite radio DJ, who plays all music from the actual game itself. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm
That
just
was
such a
fun.
nerd. I love this game so
That's
much.
cool.
And
Yeah.
at this scene, though, this is where our two favorite characters, Lucy and Max, share a kiss. And she's like, this is the person I want to breed with for the rest of my life. But what's really great is they share a kiss, and their two dead heads that they're holding start kissing also. I was like, oh, this is all time. I was like, that is so good.
Yeah. And then he gets very flustered about his boner, which I get it.
You want to
dude.
make my penis pop like a pimple? I love
Hey, Lucy, I'm ready to make my cock explode now. Like, just incredible. Incredible.
totally make my cock explode now if you want. I loved how they handled sex in it, though. Lucy always viewed it as a means of breeding because that's probably what they're taught in the vaults is like, we're here to perpetuate society, to breed. And she's like, we have laws about breeding with our cousins for a very strict reason. And like, you know what I mean? So it's all about breeding. For him, he's like embarrassed by, he's like, oh yeah, some of the guys say their penis gets really big and it pops like a pimple. Not
Mine
me
doesn't.
though. And mine doesn't do that. Like, he doesn't know. And there's no sex ed in the Brotherhood. I love it. It's like once again, all these comedy bits really play into like how these people are throughout the world. It's and how they've been raised. It was really good. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
The use of comedy to give more information about the world and each character was expertly done.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's imagine that we are having to live through the Fallout. We could say roughly in the time of the show.
Vault.
All right, well, I have your answer.
I'm fucking with you. I'll play along.
No,
I'll play
that
along.
was the question. Is which
I'm so
faction would
sorry.
you like to choose?
Please.
Would you choose? Do you want to rough it in the wasteland, or live in a vault, or
I will
the
answer
Brotherhood.
for reals. I will answer for real. I think I would enjoy probably something like a Philly or like near Philly. Like you want to be near people. There's like safety in numbers. But yeah, I'll try to be a badass surviving the wasteland. I probably wouldn't be great, but I'll give it a try.
okay, Becker?
I'm actually gonna be in a vault. Fuck all that. After playing these games, like they didn't even go to like a quarter of like the terrifying monster like abominations from
Oh
the
my
wasteland,
God.
like the irradiated monsters and stuff. They didn't talk about any super mutants, which is horrifying. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You only scratched the surface of how terrible this place is. I'm living in a vault. I will be Vault Tech experimented on. I don't care.
Yeah,
Team Vault-Tec for sure.
yeah. Put me in a vault. I'd sign me up for Vault 4, naked rituals and all.
I'll go to New Vegas. Let me take my chances there. I'll be gambling with the hoodlums.
Are there any other main characters we haven't talked about?
The dog is really cute.
Dog
He's
is
with
great.
he's like he doesn't meet the canine test for I don't ever really remember what faction the doctor started off in. But he was in a different faction, I believe, than any of the other factions we saw, which was interesting. And so it was like a bunch of scientists, and the dog was like too small, so he raised it in secret,
yeah.
and so they didn't
So
put it
cute.
down. And it was so cute, and the dog followed, and it was so cute how even it was just though it was his head, the dog followed it like throughout the whole story. It was really cute.
Yeah,
It was really cute. Do you guys want to know where he's from?
yeah.
The
Like the
dog?
sign-
We want the lore.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Sign us up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, tell us.
So-
Yeah, what? Yeah.
The scientist is from what's called the Enclave, and the Enclave is essentially a cabal from like presidents, high corporate people, just kind of all assuming into one big faction. They're separate from the Brotherhood of Steel. They're definitely more evil. So imagine like if Elon Musk and every like Bill Gates just all like ran in like their own
Oh.
evil scientist place after.
How did he know about all the vaults?
So the Enclave wasn't created until after the bombs dropped. Essentially, like they all knew they were part of the Enclave, but if you don't know about the Enclave, like you're not in the Enclave type shit. So he
So
must
the
have been in like
Illuminati, or
bingo, essentially.
Feeling kind
Yeah,
of
George
Illuminati-esque.
for sure. Yeah.
the deep state.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's before we kind of wrap things up here, what was everyone's favorite moment of the series? Could be funny, a fight, badass. Favorite moment of the series.
Whoosh.
I'll go first. I think I really enjoyed in the final episode, or sort of last two episodes, when Maximus and Ella Purnell and Johnny Pemberton, like they make the plan, right, to like get away together or whatever, and it's sort of the culmination of their character progressions throughout the show. You see that they've changed, and I don't know, it's just really rewarding, as fun and like
Yeah.
entertaining and
Sure.
and gory and everything that the show is. Like the character storylines, the plot is really compelling, and it's like really rewarding to just see their growth at the end. And makes the end of it where they like just kind of miss each other and like they can't get back together. It makes it that much more of a cliffhanger.
She says, "I will find you."
I bet you will too.
Yeah.
She's gonna
He
do it.
woke up. He woke up like a minute later too. If you noticed, I was like, "No, you just needed to wait. Like slap him, maybe."
Yeah.
It's the Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, I got my favorite moment. Do you have yours, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I don't want to steal
Okay.
yours.
No, okay. Mine ain't changing. Mine was when and you know, it might be like a culmination of a couple moments, but it's when Norm figured out like something's up with Vault 31. Every twist I was very invested in the mystery of the vaults. So I'm actually really glad I had not played the games and knew that they were all experiments, because like that shit was so interesting and compelling to me. I was like, Vault 32's been dead for 2 years. I was like, how does 31 not know? Or like, I was so invested in all of that. And then when Bud Askins was like, you know what? It was probably that connection when Bud Askins was like, time's the ultimate weapon. And then they show like all the people in the cryo chambers. And I was like, oh my God, they've been cryogenically sleeping, and that's how some of them are coming here. Brilliant. I love the mystery of it. Yeah.
I want to say I'm probably gonna share this with a bunch of other fans as well. But the last scene we see the Ghoul, who just absolutely messes up all the Brotherhood of Steel
Yeah.
power armor wearers. Like
Oh.
it was cool. It brought him back from when he was a soldier, and he's like, "Hey boys, you guys know like the one sweet spot in the armor? Oh, you don't? Oh,
Oh. Let's see
bummer."
if they change that. Ow! No, they did not. That was great.
As soon as he like punched through the first one, I was like, "Oh, here we go, finale! Like this is it. This is way too far." So
I
good.
thought the action throughout the whole thing was compelling. The fucking finger axolotl in
yeah,
the
when it gets-
lake. That was
Oh, yeah, I
terrifying.
forgot about that.
And then he goes, that thing digests slowly. Don't worry, we have time. I was like, I'm glad they threw that plot point in there. Otherwise, I'd be
Yeah.
like, why is he leaving?
No, it's funny you say that too, because like I was like, oh, they're just gonna go. Like, isn't that like the main point of
Yeah.
the show? Like,
They need that.
so some writer had to be like, no. This creature specifically never digest anything, so we're good. Canonical.
And it was fucked up that it came from Vault 4. The most fucked up part of the whole series, so I gave my favorite. Most fucked up was the woman giving birth to all like the piranha that ended up eating her. That was terrifying.
Sorry, Shannon. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one scene. I was like, hey, you should not watch this part.
Don't
Like,
watch
I
this
shut
one.
it off. I was like, just come back, and like 5 minutes later, it's gonna be
Awful.
fine. So like, when she listens to that, she'd be like, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes, good. Glad you skipped it. I wish I had.
I don't know if this is on Letterboxd. No.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think they do shows yet.
They
We've
don't do
determined.
That's true.
I
that's
always
true.
keep thinking they do.
Rotten Tomatoes, average tomato meter score of 93%, or that's the critic score.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
very
great.
well regarded. Much better reception than Rings of Power.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
What percentage of tomato are you guys giving this show?
I am giving it a 5 out of 5. I genuinely think I could recommend this to like 9 out of 10 people. And I think they would really enjoy it and be very compelled. And they would never need to pick up the video game. You know what I mean? And I just think that's such a testament to the lore and the story and the world building. I was encapsulated all 8 episodes. I don't think there was one episode where I was like, that one wasn't that good. They were all fire. 5
sure.
stars.
Yeah.
5 stars for me.
I gotta agree. I mean, like, it was so cool to see something that I've played since I was, a kid, been made into an actual masterpiece. They didn't halo it, they didn't ruin anything for me. It was really fun to watch in all times, and everyone I've talked to who again has never played the games, they're like, yeah, I followed everything, hilarious, crazy. Maybe I'll play a game. So you're same story,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. I gotta agree, fellas. 5 out of 5 show, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just a masterclass of adaptation. And granted, I don't know the games. I haven't played the games, but there was never a moment that struck me as, oh, this is an. I mean, there are things that strike me as nods, but there's never a moment where they like pause to look at a cool looking gun and the music swells up under it, and you're
Wink.
supposed to know that this
Yeah.
is a thing. But like, it's all like very subtly laid in there, and it all serves the atmosphere that they're building of the show of the world. So just kudos, well done. This has been renewed for season
Yeah.
2, correct?
Season 2
I
is
believe
already
so,
being
yeah.
worked on. Yeah.
I do see a headline here that the showrunner says that they are trying to make season 2 as fast as humanly possible. So I don't know what that timeline means, but hopefully we will get a new season of this show
That means
soon.
3 to 4 years. The current landscape. No, I'm just kidding.
What is that? What I guess when you have big star, I don't know.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's a lot of things go into it, I guess. And
They're gonna
part
pull
of
an
it is
Invincible.
Oh,
It's
good.
true.
They'll do like
part of
You-
it is the
yeah.
streaming service. Yeah, Amazon's known for this. Let's get into some news and then we can wrap up here. I got one bit of news.
Sure.
Only because this is like personal and near to my heart. The director for Marvel's Blade has dropped out again. This is
Yeah.
the second director to leave the project. What's going on? We don't know. But it doesn't point to things are going well.
Yeah.
And I fucking love Blade. And I'm so
So
upset to
good.
hear this. That's the news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Becker,
go
where do you
on. What
land on
have,
Marvel
Evan?
movies in general, superhero genre, comic book genre, maybe?
that's a whole other hour you're gonna need from me if you want me to go down that rabbit hole. You know, like
Yeah.
I love all the early DC animation from like late 90s, 2000s. I like all of them. So good.
Where do you land
all
on
the mo-
DC
all the-
jam.
EU? The Snyderverse. Tough, yeah.
As a huge fan, as someone who used to go every week to go get like comic books or something, to see what they did to my Flash hurts. It hurts me inside.
We should have this debate on the pod right now.
I understand. Not now. Now's not the time.
Zard is
I get it. Is the thing.
yeah.
Look, I like it more than most people. Ezra Miller, them playing the Flash, but I also understand people's complaints and critiques. So I'm
That's
not going to
fair.
sit here and be like, no, it doesn't even make any sense that you would say the hot dog scene is not peak. And no, so I understand it,
Yeah.
but so it's hard to defend. But I like it. I don't know what it is about it. I like it. Okay,
It's a very
let's
campy
move on.
superhero movie. Yeah.
It is campy. It is very campy.
The Blade news is discouraging for the listeners
Disgusting.
at home who aren't following. Mahershala Ali, Oscar award-winning Mahershala Ali, was cast as Blade, half human, half vampire. You may recall a '90s movie of the same name, and the character was played by Wesley Snipes, and it's a cult classic. It's a great one, and the general consensus sort of vibe I've seen to the news of the latest director leaving is that like it's all we want to see is Mahershala Ali doing martial arts and killing vampires with a sword. Like it's not that there's not much more to it. Like that's all we want.
What more do you need?
I heard that Blade, like the actual character, is only in like 10 minutes of the actual movie. That's just what I've heard. I don't know like if that's legit.
That'd be
But all I
crazy.
want to see, I want to see him in a dance floor with limited lighting, with a sword, just cut it in like techno music, because that's the best part of Blade,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
I watched
No,
that in
I
second
I see
grade,
the vision.
and for whatever reason, my brother and I were home alone watching that rated R movie. And
Way
I was
to
scared
go.
to go and check go downstairs and check if the door was locked because I was afraid that vampires were real. I thought I was gonna get got. You know, that was
You're
a great
like,
movie.
this is the worst time to watch
Formative
this.
years of my life.
That's great.
In other news, so there's a big animation festival competition. So
Ooh,
there's a lot of
yeah.
new announcements coming out. A couple from Warner Brothers Animation, which strikes me as odd, but I'll read the headline first. New versions of Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends all got
Yeah.
green lights. Adventure Time, I
Adventure
believe,
Time.
is going to be a feature film.
Well, listen to this.
Okay.
You're missing it. It's a film and 2 spin-off series, and they announced season 2 of Fiona and Cake.
Yes.
That's 4 total Adventure Time projects that are in the works right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. Rebecca Sugar.
Rebecca, no, I was gonna
Becker,
say I
are
love
you,
it.
Are you into Adventure Time?
You
What's
know,
your
it was-
cartoon?
it was-
You're a listener of the
No,
podcast.
please.
What's your
Yes.
history
Oh,
with
yeah.
cartoons?
Yeah.
What's sort of your
I want to say
wheelhouse?
Adventure Time was like the one where like I was graduating college graduating high school, and I was like, cartoons are lame. Like I'm an adult now. I'm going to college. So like it was the one I was like, I'm too old for this. Definitely not too old. But easily one of the greatest cartoons of all time is Fairly Odd Parents. has some of the best humor for both kids and adults. So funny. I think I re-listened
Dingleberg.
literally, like it's impeccable. But in terms of like adult cartoons, really much anything. I listened to you guys' Invincible podcast. That was incredible. Like I like that one. But man, anything. Oh, I want to recommend something to you guys.
Please.
You have to see Scavenger's Reign. I'm sure you'll probably have you seen it?
I just
He's-
finished
he's
it
recommending
yesterday.
it.
Good.
I've been trying to get
Yes.
Brizard on it. You gotta watch it.
It's like Studio Ghibli meets Discovery Channel meets the movie Alien with like Sigourney Weaver. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's
Have to see it.
Okay.
I just finished it. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful animation. It was a Max series originally, got canned. It's on Netflix now streaming, and the showrunners are hoping if it gets enough of a good response that Netflix might pick it up for season 2. So, Brizard, you have to watch it now.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah,
Gotta watch
gotta
it now.
watch it.
Required.
Other than that, I think that's all.
I think that's all exciting stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Any
Oh, wait.
any last thoughts? Oh.
I think maybe not a trailer, but we've seen from Annecy. I think there have been first looks at the Lord of the Rings anime
Oh yeah.
feature film that is
was
coming out.
interesting.
Yeah, that'll be
Uh-huh.
sick. There's a trailer for Watchmen animated adaptation, I think, just of the graphic novel. So yeah, lots to look forward to. Which from Warner Brothers, which is weird because they've just been canning movies and like cutting off huge segments of their workforce. I want to
Such a
be
great
mad at them,
announcement.
but this slate of animation that's coming up is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I really believe people are starting to realize you can tell a legit story with like emotion and with great writing through animation. You can really, and adults can enjoy it too. And I really think, there was a time where people were like, like it's drawn. I don't really want to see it. It's for kids, right? But now we get to see like amazing moving pieces get published many times throughout the year. So amazing. Guys, thank you so much.
It's a whole new
Thank you
age.
so much for having me.
Yeah, no, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you filling the gaps in for us because even though it was a series I don't feel like we needed it, it only enhances my experience to know that someone who's like a big fan of it was like, yes, this checks all the boxes.
It works for newcomers.
So good,
It works
without-
for fans. It's a
Yeah.
great watch. Thank you for bringing it to us.
I was just so glad you guys said yes. I mean,
I was
going
gonna watch it either way.
Yeah.
I just had been prolonging it. I like to watch it fresh. Like I finished it last night. I love video games. I love cartoons. I love podcasting. This is like a trifecta of all my favorite things.
For
Okay.
you guys, please, if you're not doing anything for season 2 when it comes out, holla at your boy.
Hey,
Sounds like
Please.
we're
Yeah,
booked.
you're a resident. Resident expert.
We should have you
I'm,
on for,
I'm ready
for
for
a
season
DC
2.
thing sometime soon.
We could have you on for a DC thing if you wanna trash talk some DCEU
We're
with
working
us.
through that.
We,
Suicide
Tell me what
Squad.
the good
We
time.
go through the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. If you liked this episode and want more, please go check out our old episodes. You can, we have a big backlog of a lot of things that you'll enjoy at this point. And, like I said before, we appreciate you watching. You can listen to more episodes on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube as well, as I pointed out. Follow us at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons on both Instagram and TikTok. And, make sure you rate and review wherever you're listening from. 5 stars or a little like at YouTube, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And just once again, thanks for coming by, Alex Becker. This is what we love to do. We love to just gush about shit that we love. And so
what we're here for.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Thank
I'm glad you
you.
came
Thank you
on.
so
and
much.
we always appreciate connecting with our fans. Just kidding. You're a friend first, not a fan.
It's gonna be weird is listening to my own voice on the way to
You're
work.
gonna hate
Oh,
it.
it's
in
the
the future. I'm just
weirdest.
like,
Yeah, you're gonna hate it.
I know.
It's
Oh,
natural.
thank you so much,
It's
you guys.
natural.
That'll do it for this episode of Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. We will catch you next time.
Two dudes watch cartoons.